and get away with it in the dry, including any possible last-minute issues with pre-scrutineering, it would be a smart thing to go in now. Otherwise, it opens the door to uncertainty what happens after the rain has hit us, assuming that the forecast is correct. Here in the mountains, we've seen it, that it changes quick and it can go either direction.
And I see orange vests, so one car is getting pushed in the dynamics area as well. And I see an orange stripe on the nose, so this should be too fast, pushing the car into autocross area. And yeah, there's the 31, nice. So yeah, to Munich next up in autocross, so they also want to have the dry conditions, maybe like have the advantage that AMZ cleaned the track a bit for them. But on the other hand, wind is also picking up now as the cloud is coming, so this is going to be a big lottery today.
Well, this is also some reference to be had by the other teams, how long it takes for pre-scrutineering. This is something I was in charge in my team, not only to check how many teams are in the queue, but also how long it takes to get in. If you pretend to do your first driver attempts, get out, and place a second driver in a given window of time, you need to take into account pre-scrutineering, the time it takes to do the laps, assuming nothing goes wrong, and then also the post-scrutineering. So altogether, it's not a trivial amount of time, could be easily be 20 minutes or something in that order of magnitude. And that obviously constrains the whole session. Of course, we have 3 hours and a half, but we already are almost out of the first hour. So let's see what all the other teams are willing to do. We should have right over 10 teams, maybe a bit more if more teams manage to clear scrutineering today, which we're hoping they do. So it could be quite a lot of runs. And it's also, I think, quite important for them to get a good time, such that they allow to run tomorrow in the endurance with cars that go the same pace, which is also quite important. If you're running out of order, you may be with cars that are much faster or much slower. And I think both things compromise your lap time, as you have to lose some in the overtaking zones, no matter which side of the overtaking zone you are. It's definitely not good for your lap. Okay, and I think Munich has cleared the pre-inspection, which means their driver is now going to be allowed to approach the green flag and set their first lap for the autocross. They have a tradition of being very, very good at autocross. and I don't think today's an exception that they're gonna try to get the best out of all these corners we have.
Yeah, and he's really pushing it from the start and giving it all, entering the first slalom section.
Very nice. It looked like he didn't even need to brake.
Yeah,
Now
then
heads the hairpin.
yeah, you need to stay on the inside from the first apex to manage to get into the second minimal radius turn. Then now he's in the tightening pendulum right before the second slalom section. And right after the second slalom section, he will enter the double apex turnaround.
Seems to clear that without too much issue. Now he's gonna go to the double square chicane. Quite a lot of turning there, much more than IMZ.
And it seems like there was one or two cones thrown in the back there.
There
are
comes the
some
hard
marshals on the
braking.
track.
Yeah.
Hard braking, yeah, after the long straight before the second double hairpin. This time the other way around. First is a minimal radius, then it's opening up, going in the second slalom, and then over the finish line, and Munich made their first go.
Yeah, 76 seconds. So behind the IMZ times, if it was only one cone, that placed them probably very close. We have a bit of uncertainty of the number of cones, of course. They are not shown in the timekeeping, but very competitive from the get-go.
Yeah, and they're directly starting with the second attempt, going in the axle straight in the first slalom section.
Yeah, I think both teams have chosen the same entry for the slalom one, which I think it's the correct one. It gives you a very nice exit. Too Fast seems to clear the tight hairpins without any concern. Now he's in the pendulum and he's gonna have to do a hard left to enter the slalom, where he's forced in the second slalom to take a marked entry. Does a bit of braking on the turnaround corner, but I think he did it well. Now the double chicane. There we go. A lot of turning, just like before. Seems like this car is happy to rotate quite a lot. Now entering the fastest part of the track. Let's see if he nails the braking zone. Very nice. A bit of drifting. Oh, it seems like he overdid it a bit. I can't see it clearly from here, but he may have gone off track. Last couple corners and now approaching the finishing straight. Very nice.
And it was 0.3 seconds slower than their first attempt. So depending on the cones and the off tracks, like we can't see it good from here what happens on the other side of the landing strip, but depending on those, I think we still have a pretty narrow battle between Too Fast and AMZ right now.
Yeah, I think as we were discussing before, it's those hairpins can punish you quite a lot. So it's all about getting them right and not loose. So I would bet that whoever wins the autocross, it will be a driver who has made these braking zones quite well. It's all about positioning yourself at the tight hairpins at the correct speed, such that you can go full lock on the steering and clear the hairpin without having to compromise or touch any cone on the outside.
And seems like there's a cone stuck in the Munich car, and the team members are trying to free it from the cone.
Yeah, I think that confirms at least one cone penalty for this run.
and it seems like it was stuck in the undertray. So um, I hope it didn't damage anything while it got dragged there, like maybe half a lap.
Yeah, maybe not even. If they caught it at the last hairpin, it would be about the last quarter. But now it's their turn to get re-scrutinized, and it wasn't too short for Zurich, so I expect that they're also gonna get the full attention of all the scrutineers who have no other car to take a look at, so they probably are also enjoying themselves going thoroughly through all the details that they have agreed that they would subject these cars to. Yeah, for our listeners at home, you probably are wondering what's going on, and actually, it isn't much that is going on. The University of Munich is still following procedure in the post-run scrutineering, and we have no other cars approaching the dynamic area. So we have a few tents outside, I bet, with the corresponding teammates doing some work.
And it seems like they're kind of at one of the rear wings. it seems like. So they're on the rear right. Sadly, that's the side we don't see from here. So we don't know if there's something wrong or not. But yeah, there's a team member also laying on the ground and looking, and it seems that Karlsruhe has fixed their issue they had earlier, and they're pushing back on the starting line or in the pre-inspection area in the queue.
Yeah, I hope they use this opportunity to take a look at how Munich and Zurich were approaching the track. So maybe their driver is already evaluating those choices and making their own based on how they saw these two cars performing.
So I want to take the opportunity and I want to greet Eloy's parents watching from Barcelona.
I think they were,
Thanks for tuning in to our Autocross live stream.
yeah, I think now they can see us on camera. We're in the tent in the back. I think they were greeted already a couple hours ago by Sarah and Jon. But yeah, hi.
We can't greet your parents like often enough.
Yeah, no, I mean, they see me often enough.
And from what I can see, it seems like Munich upgraded their rear wing text. Seems like they got one of those famous "Net here, but have you been to Baden-Württemberg" stickers on.
Yeah, I wonder which team from Baden-Württemberg put that sticker there.
Could it be that because the sticker is yellow as well, that maybe Karlsruhe put up the sticker there?
Yeah, they seem to be playing innocent now, focusing on their own run. Let's see. My guess is this is again the same driver as before, trying to get their one run that they can do. Let's see what they do. This has to be a mix of a banker lap and also going for performance, as it's the last attempt that they can do.
I think with the coneless lap, they're in front. No, like that we have seen so many cones here. The track is really, really tricky, and keeping it cone free is like the way to go. So now Karlsruhe is entering the first slalom.
Yeah, started on the correct side, on the right. I think they're braking a bit harder to position themselves to take every corner, and very slow on the hairpin, but clean. So that's good. Now heading to the pendulum.
Yeah, and tightening pendulum is also one of those classic Formula Student track and configurations we have. So having a slalom that goes or is getting slower with every turn is really hard to drive, and you have to like roll through their minimum braking. Now getting in the bus stop chicane or square double chicane.
They didn't rotate the car as much as Munich, so they hopefully also didn't touch the cone. Those cones are mean. They're very meanly placed. Wow, lot of drifting, but they saved it.
Yeah, they just hit one or two cones there. That was almost a Scandinavian flick.
heading for the final timekeeping line. It wasn't as fast, but 85 seconds, very good. I think very nice save at the final hairpin. Was quite tight. I think they weren't planning to have to break that hard. So it's a bit of a lesson for the other teams to really have a mental plan on how to take that straight. I think this is technically very, very difficult. You can't go slow. It's a very long straight comparatively. So you have to go full gas for quite a bit. But you have to be at your slowest speed possible at the hairpin, also well positioned on the outside. So technically very difficult, and we'll see what their second driver will be able to do. I'm sure they will be quite happy to use the footage from their GoPro. And while we were watching Karlsruhe, a team from University of Berlin, Fast Tube, also decided to show up. We'll give you a quick update on the weather in a minute, because that's going to be now quite critical. Yeah, I think the rain is dissipating before it hits us, so we have over the mountain some shadows of clouds, but the forecast for drops, for actual precipitation, is disappearing by the minute. So maybe we're gonna have a fully dry session as of right now.
So a little fun fact about the fast tube drivers. From our information, both are called Alex, and one of them is a carnivore, and the other one needs one isotonic drink before every race. And the more the more expensive it is, the better his performance is. So yeah, some white energy drink energy here.
I think that's a good thing they are in Switzerland, as they probably have paid a bit extra for those energy drinks, so that should lead them to some good performance. And I think one Alex is on the car and the other one is right outside the car. So we have both Alexis in here. Oh, a lot of contact from the front wing to the ground. I think they suffered a bit under those bumps. Now, going through the slalom, I think they solved that well. Let's see how they go through the further bumps. A nice hairpin. I think they did quite a good job there. Now towards getting through the pendulum. Not an easy section. Hard left, and the slalom. And we can't hear any more drifting anymore. I hope that means that the run is a bit smoother. Long corner towards the double chicane. First to the left, now to the right.
Yeah, we don't see any track marshals running on track, so that means that we haven't hit any cone yet.
Yeah, now we can hear it a bit more. Very nice braking for the double hairpin. I think so far it's a clean lap, which in a sense would put them on top of the rankings if their time is the best. And it is 73.72. So that should be a P1 for now.
So Fast Tube upsetting the order here a bit. Like the driver is shouting that he might hit a cone and if it's stuck anywhere. And do you smell the tires? Like they're really heated up.
Yes,
They
there
had,
is a lot of smell.
they had a lot of wheel spin and acceleration as well.
I think they had to fight a lot in the first corners. I'm not sure they had too much trouble. There is a bump at the pretty much at the starting line. So if you're starting too fast, it can upset the car such that you fail to take the first corner as much as you want. I think they're getting the clear from their teammates to go for the second run. So good luck to Alex. Hopefully their second run is as clean as the first one and hopefully a bit faster.
And the bumps in the first section are really, really hard. Also in the braking area before the horseshoe corner.
I think that the front wing will have to be rechecked by their team members. Oh,
Yeah,
a lot of oversteer on the hairpin.
yeah, it's like they're allowing the car to have much more wheel spin than the other teams do.
Yeah, I wonder if they suffer a bit from grip on those corners, but the driver skills compensating. Like they're making the car go exactly in between the cones so far.
I mean, if they have karting experience, you love those oversteery cars around that tight corners.
Mm.
So maybe it's also a driver setup they're used to. Oh, and
Oh,
then this was a really good Scandi flick, and now they're standing. Oh no!
yeah, that's a pity. I think they hit the braking zone fairly nicely, but the car got upset during that braking. And we'll see if the car is able to continue on its own, but that's definitely a bit unfortunate for a team that was doing so well in this session. I think I'm seeing the marshals pushing the car. I'm not sure if it's able to restart on its own power anymore. We'll see if the team members are instructed to go retrieve the car. This could also be a factor for the
But
overall afternoon because
on the other hand, let me get in there quickly. Ooh, they're getting the roll boxes, so there might be a suspension failure whilst the Scandi flick.
that would be very, very unfortunate. But we saw the car bouncing up and down quite a lot, so maybe they expected that suspension to take more hits than it was able to, and that's very, very bad. Luckily for them, it seems like they're going to be able to retrieve the car. According to the rules, the car retrieval procedure is done once every hour. So if your car fails while the track is very busy, it could be that you have to wait quite a long time to be able to retrieve it. Let's hope for the sake of the Berlin team that they can get the car out and fix whatever issue they have. I mean, for now, their best time should put them on top of the standings. but they can't expect that nobody's going to challenge them.
In the meantime, US Mittweida is waiting on the starting line. Seems like they already cleared pre-inspection as the big white and red cone is behind the car. So as soon as the fast tube car is cleared off the track, um, the car without aerodynamic devices will hit the track. And I think they could have some fun there. They're two-wheel drive, getting out of those tight hairpins with a smooth drift could be lots of fun for the driver. So I'm thrilled to see how they're doing.
Well, they definitely will have to have a different strategy for driving without aerodynamics. So their whole first section is going to look completely different without the wind in their favor. But maybe on the way back, it's going to be a bit more similar to what the other teams were doing.
Yeah, I hope it isn't too severe what happened to the the fast tube car there, and they can get it fixed before the time here ends, and the second driver can also set a time because the car looked really quick, um, and it would be a shame if they would be out of the autocross competition for now. On the other hand, still no cars behind Mittweida in the queue, so um, they're not wait like if you push in now, you won't have to wait that long until you will be able to drive. And it seems like in the meantime we'll have a voluntary, volunteer change for the track marshals. So I see participants of the event who didn't pass scrutineering. They're volunteering as track marshals. So give them a round of applause for helping us out here.
Now we're getting the